Gentlemen, if you watch my channel, then you know that any time that I've ever recommended any product of any type, whether it be clothing or something else, that I always give the disclaimer of I'm not being endorsed by this company whatsoever. Well, that kind of changes today. Sort of. Because today I am reviewing the made-to-measure dress shirt by Short and Fat. Here on Big Pretty Man. Hi, and welcome back to Big Pretty Man, the channel for the extra-large man who wants to live his life large and in charge. I'm your host, Timothy Big Pretty Crowe. I'm a wardrobe and lifestyle consultant for the extra-large man. Okay, guys, if you follow my channel on a regular basis, then you know that a couple weeks ago, I did a video on dress shirts. And I talked about how difficult it is for an extra-large man to find dress shirts that properly fit. And that I even recommended that you should probably go for a more tailor-fitted or made-to-measure shirts rather than trying to go off the rack. The problem with going off the rack is that they normally, as I said, go by your neck measurements and down your arm, which that will get a shirt that will at least button and fit you. However, it causes a lot of problems with the rest of the measurements in the shirt. Usually it's overcompensated in the chest and to the sides, so you end up having a lot of it ends up being very baggy, very billowy. You end up with this extra material underneath your arms. So across the yoke and the shoulders aren't right. Usually makes you look slumped. So you end up with looking a little bit sloppy. And I did talk about ways to get around that. However, I did recommend, as I said, going with something a little more tailor-fitted or made to measure. And one of the companies, a new company that I recommended was this new one, Short and Fat, run by the very charismatic and energetic Blake Adams and his partner Jeff Martin. And I'd even made the joke during that video about saying, "Hey Blake, I love your stuff. If you need somebody to promote it." Well, actually, Blake did see that video, and he apparently really is impressed with what I'm doing, and he immediately contacted me, and he's was very excited, and he's like, "Dude, I'm sending you a shirt. I am sending you a shirt out." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, great. I'll review it for you." So this is actually going to be and he did ship the shirt, and I'm now wearing it, and yes, I'm going to do a review on it. Now, first I have to kind of make a little confession. Even though I did recommend going with this company, because I'd heard many good things about it, but I had yet to order a shirt that was made to measure online. I worked in a lot of big and tall stores, and as a wardrobe consultant and salesman, and I've done a lot of tailoring measurements for men, and I know how difficult it is, even with them standing right in front of you and you putting the measuring tape on them, how difficult it is for them to get the right measurements. So I was a little skeptical on how well it would be done online. Now, I did recommend it because I think that any attempt at made to measure is going to be much better than off the rack, and they also had a very good price. But when I found out he was going to send me the shirt and I had to go and do the measurements online, I'm not going to lie, I was a little skeptical. I'm like, I'm going to be really interested in seeing how this would turn out. That and another thing, as I always say, and before, I don't do this channel for promotions or endorsements. I do this, and I started this channel to help out my fellow extra large men to up their self-esteem, to help them live large and in charge, to make them realize that they can be just as handsome, just as competent, just as charismatic, and just as successful as any man of any size, and that you shouldn't allow your size to interfere with your life, and that you should try to be comfortable and confident in the skin, in the body that you're in, and wear the skin that you're in. And that is still my main mission. And I'm not looking at, I didn't do it to get into money. So even though I got this my first kind of endorsement, I guess you say, and this first review, I'm like, whatever anybody sends me, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm going to be honest and even critical. I'm going to look at it fairly, because if I'm going to recommend to you, it's going to be a good product. If it's not, I'm going to do the review, or I'm going to give a bad review. Exactly. So I did the measurements. He shipped the shirt, and I'm wearing, as I said, I'm wearing it now. And I have to tell you, in all honesty, I'm thrilled with this shirt. Even I've had a couple of shirts that people have actually measured to give me a made-to-measure shirt, and they didn't turn out this well. I am super impressed. This is the best made-to-measure tailored shirt to my size I've ever owned now. I have to give it up to them. Way to go, Blake. Way to go, Short and Fat. I'm really impressed. You've impressed Big Pretty. Big Pretty, big impressed. And I want to tell you why I'm so impressed. But before I go into the review and why I think this is one of the best shirts, dress shirts that I've ever put on, let me go through the process and of what you would have to do to get a Short and Fat shirt. First, when you go onto their website, the first thing you've got is is to step one, and that is to take the chance, give it a test drive, and decide to get one shirt to see. And I think that's a good plan. So the second thing you're going to do is build your shirt. And once you click on that, when you're going through this process, it's gonna have you select everything from what type of collars you want, what kind of button collars you want, what kind of buttons, what kind of material, what color, of course, what kind of cuffs, what kind of pleats you want in the back. You're going to be able to make all of those choices. So once you've done that, then you go to step 3, and that is to get your measurements. Now, when you hit on this and you give these measurements, actually Blake, who's a very charismatic man, takes you to videos, and he's going to tell you exactly how and what measurements to take, each one in each step. And you'll watch the video and you'll put in a number, it'll take you to the next one. You're going to have to measure not only around your neck and down your arm, but you're also going to have to measure your bicep. You're going to have to measure across your chest, of course, across your your midsection, and across your waist. You're going to have to get straight down your front. He's going to explain all that to you and exactly what to get. And once you do, and you need to do those as you can, and you need to get a measuring tape. If you don't have one, Short and Fat will actually send you one for free. And you need to get a good friend that can take proper measurements. That's going to be very, very important. And once you get these measurements in, then they will send them to their tailors. Their tailors will take those measurements and the shirt that you've built, and they will create a shirt for you, and it'll be shipped to you. Now, Short and Fat actually offers a membership club. If you buy just the one shirt, it's going to be $127, which for a made-to-measure shirt, that's a fantastic price. However, if you do become a membership, then you get the shirt for $97, and you have a choice of getting of paying that either once a month, once every 2 months, or once every 3 months. And I think that in that type of membership, you're going to find one that fits just about everyone else's budget. $97, say you only get one every 3 months. Well, that's still like 4 shirts a year. For $97 to have 4 made-to-measure, fitted, tailored shirts in your closet, that is a fantastic deal. And I'd highly recommend it. And yeah, if you can spare out the $97 a month, then you could have 12 shirts, made-to-measure shirts. And not only that, they come in all different colors, all different patterns, a lot of different fabrics. You can even get the contrast of the collars and the cuffs, like that I talked about before. So, you can get short sleeves and long sleeves. It's a fantastic deal and one that I would highly recommend. And I'll tell you why I'm going to recommend it when I start going over why this is the best fitted shirt that I think I've ever owned. Now, I'm like, if I want to test a shirt, I'm going to go with the absolute classic, the great masterpiece of men's shirts, and that would be a white dress shirt. So I went with just your basic white dress shirt. I picked the pearl colored buttons. And one thing I do love is this collar. I picked this type of collar, which has a concealed button down. Now, a lot of people don't like button down shirts that show on the top. A lot of people think that they're out. There's a little debate on that. Some people say they're okay. Other people say, they don't look right. With this, it doesn't matter because, I get the good shape, held together. I'm not getting flayed apart if I have a tie on or something. It doesn't matter because the button is hid. I love that feature. So, of course, and one thing I did want, and I wanted to really test it out, the test of a good tailor for shirts, is I wanted French cuff shirts, white shirts, and so that's what I got. As you can see, I've got my blue crown, because Big Pretty King, baby. I got my blue crown cufflinks in. And another thing that I ended up getting, and I don't normally do monograms, but I was just too tempted. I couldn't resist myself. It's Big Pretty. I love that. I think I may have started something, folks. But anyway, but all right. So when the shirt come in, I was so pleasantly surprised when I put it on because it fits so well. So let's start off with a couple of the things that reason I'm so thrilled. One, let's start with the measurements. And if you watch my earlier video, you'll know some of the tests. So let's give some of my tests. First, let's go with the collar. Now, remember what I said. With the collar, you should be able to stick your finger in without pressing against your neck. Don't be pushing in on your neck. And also you should be able to see this top collar very clear. That works. Move my head side to side. It's perfect, actually. The collar is perfect. Absolutely, I'm not, looking like a turtle. My head's up nice. And so so they got that right. And of course the sleeve is coming to where it should, just at the start of my of the ball of my thumb, as you can see there. So they got that right. That's perfect. But then you get these two you can get that from off the rack. No, what I'm most impressed with is the yoke and under the arms and the sides. I'm so very impressed. Now, and I'm going to be using as an example what was before the best off the rack white shirt that I had, and the one that I wore in my past video, which is not a bad shirt. That was the shirt that looked best on me as far as a white shirt before this one. So, and we're going to compare it, and you can see there's no comparison. First, let's start off with the shoulders. And if you'll notice, the shoulder should come to just where your shoulder, just right below where your shoulder ends. You look, my shoulder ends exactly on point. If you look here at this pic, you'll see it's set much more properly than in the other white shirt. And so, therefore, when I stand like this, if you notice, it doesn't make my shoulders don't look like they're slumped, as they do with that slightly with that white shirt. Like I said, that was the better one that I had. So you can see it. Also, it's already starting to accentuate my shoulders and my shape. instead of making me look dumpy, it's actually squaring and making my shoulders look correct. Okay, now the other thing that I'm really impressed with is, and it goes along with this, is the yoke in the back. Yoke is what goes across, across, should be right above your shoulder blades. Now, if you'll look, and I guess I can turn my back on you guys. Yeah, it may be a risk. Eyes back behind heads, guys. But as you can see, that yoke is perfect. It's above my shoulder blades. And there it works exactly in the lines that it should be in. Now, if you compare it to this other, compare it to the other shirt, you can see the difference and how big of a difference it's making. So therefore, I'm back. You may try anything. So therefore, I can now try my test out. Which, remember what I said, is that you should be able to take your arms like this, bring it in, and the shirt should, if the shirt's too loose, you won't feel it on your back. If the shirt's too tight, you'll feel it pull. You'll feel a pull. Well, I'm doing this, and I can feel the shirt just whispering on my back. You can even, I'll let you see. It's not too loose. It's not too tight. It's perfect. So I've got good range of motion, and that's the way you want. That's perfect in the way that you want it. So that right there really makes a big difference in the rest of the construction of the shirt. But man, let me tell you what I'm really impressed with, and you know what I will say: the flying squirrel is dead. Look at that. Look at that. It's perfect. The stitch to the sleeve, step over here. The stitch to the sleeve is exactly touching. There's the bottom of my armpit. I can feel it. Touching the bottom of my armpit. And look, no excess material. And I can lift, and another thing, the other test, I can lift my arm up like this and it's not pulling my shirt out. So it has just the right amount of material without making it look like I'm about to fly out the damn window like I'm in the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. So, no more flying squirrel. Look at that. And it makes such a difference without all of this extra material in here. It's perfect. And I'll tell you something else. Something that Blake is really big on advertising with, and that is, with us men, as they say, vertically challenged and horizontally blessed. When we sit down in a dress shirt, and I've had it happen, we get what he calls the belly wink, which is basically the button stretch when you sit down that causes it to pucker out. We've all seen that, and it's a horrible look. Well, I sit down in this shirt. I don't have a chair here, but you know what? I can slump enough. Look. Even pull. There's no belly wink. There is no showing of the belly at all the way down. That's really impressive. So I can sit down in a chair, if I don't have my vest on, I don't have to worry about that looking like I'm turning into a fat version of the Incredible Hulk. Yeah, so, that's working perfectly. I am so very impressed. So now let's get down into, as I said, to the with the sleeves and the cuffs. The French cuff. Now, French cuff, I've seen them screwed up. I've seen them be too big, too wide, too long, and this is perfect. The dimensions are perfect. It's not too big. It's not sticking way out down here like I'm wearing some sort of clown suit. I've seen them that big. It's not. It's just, and also the fold over and the holes for the cufflinks fit perfect. It's the perfect size. And I think, like I said, with that monogram, not big on monograms normally, but this is converting me. I think that all Big Pretty shirts are going to have the Big Pretty tag on them. Now, as far as any cons, and I really had to think about it, and in truth, I can't really find many cons in this shirt. I got a good flex cotton, which is very, breathable and will actually be quite easy to clean. The only thing at first I was like, maybe that the sleeves were a little bit billowy, a little bit long, a little bit billowy, but actually not. That actually works out quite well because that helps with the flex motion and the movement. You know, you want just a little bit, you know, and I think that looks just fine. It's you know, and if it was maybe if on next time, I think that may have been the person that measured for me. I think maybe got it off. They may have got off just a little bit, but not to a point that it's a big deal. Actually, from the look of it and the range of it, when I hold it down, I think that it's fine. I think that that's actually good. And see, I'm actually hunting for something wrong with this shirt, and I can't really do it. This is the best fit shirt that I can't really find anything wrong with it. I'm sorry. I'm trying. No, and so therefore, hey, Blake, you know, Blake and Jeff, I gotta salute you. Take my hat off that I'm not wearing right now, but you have really impressed Big Pretty, big impressed, because you've actually took measurements online and created a perfectly fitting shirt for a man that's 330 pounds and about 5'8". To me, that's an incredible thing, and that is one hell of a good business, and it shows that you're very meticulous to detail. You have fantastic tailors. My hat's off to you. And for all my extra large followers and friends out there, you know from my past videos, I don't recommend anything to you that I don't think is the best bargain, and that is going to really work to help you be big, large, beautiful, and in charge. And part of that is to have a proper fit. And let me tell you, you're not going to find a shirt that is going to be better made to measure, tailor fit at this price anywhere else online than you are at Short and Fat. I'm telling you guys, I recommend it. And I think their membership plan, like I explained before, I think it's going to fit anybody's budget. You know, most of us won't be able to afford a $97 shirt once every 3 months. And if you can afford one once a month or once every 2 months, it's going to fit everybody's budget. And that way, at least you're getting four. Even if you're have a little tight budget, at least you're getting 4 fitted shirts a year. If you can afford it, you can get up to 12 shirts a year. So it's a fantastic deal for an outstanding product. I absolutely Big Pretty recommend it. So please, guys, go to the website, get those measurements done, and get you one of these shirts. Try it out. You're not going to be sorry. This is a fantastic product. I am super impressed. Well, okay, guys, that's it for my first kind of endorsed video. I'd like to thank Blake over at Short and Fat. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the shirt, and it's an absolute pleasure, and it is now definitely my favorite white dress shirt. And I am definitely sold, and I'm not an easy sell. And to all my extra large and extra large friends out there and followers out there, as I said, I don't recommend something to you unless I think that it's a good deal for you and it will help you to look sharp and to look well tailored so that you can be large and in charge and achieve your hopes and your dreams as an extra large man. And I highly recommend Short and Fat made to measure shirts to help you do that. So go down below, hit that link, get your measurements in to Blake and his team, get you a well tailored made measure shirt, throw on your jacket, throw on your accessories. You know what? Because it's all going to help you look sophisticated and stay pretty.